Alright, it is 11:58, 2 minutes before Monday, and this is going to be a weekly recap from the 13th to the 17th of last week. And if I had to summarize it, it is higher day breakouts. There were a lot of higher day breakout setups, and there are just not any morning panic bounce plays, or at least really nice ones that was a lot more common the last few months. I probably need to adapt quicker. There just haven't been morning panic bounce plays again that have been super nice, and I just need to get better. And on top of that, not just all of those things, I need to probably push myself and trade larger position sizes. I feel like I've been getting a little lazy, just trying little tiny $100-200 positions and not taking things seriously. I think if I trade maybe like a minimum of at least $500 or $1,000, I think I can push myself to trade a lot better, find better setups, take things more seriously. So I guess a minute from now, starting the next week, I will be trying to do better. There are no morning panic bounce plays, at least as nice as what it's been recently. There have been nothing but higher day breakouts, a lot of these one-day runners with a large percent move. I need to just keep adapting and keep getting better. And I did have 4 trades. Just 2 of them were losses, 2 of them were gains. This one I traded horribly with ILUS. And then I traded this one again, ILUS, kind of bad too. That was a stupid setup, but I think it helped me wake up and take things more seriously again. And there was another one, CYBL. I didn't trade because I wasn't able to with Charles Schwab, but in theory I am able to do this now with E-Trade. And also a nice thing, I believe in just well, I guess now being a Monday, in 2 days, in theory it might be the 3rd day, but I should be able to reopen my margin account with Schwab, and in theory I can be able to short sell setups. I think that would be nice. I can't trade like the tiny 1 penny stocks very efficiently because it requires a lot of capital. The $2.50 rule is in effect for those, so I'll probably be able to trade those, but not with large size. But I think that will be also, regardless, really good, to just do long setups, but short setups too. Alright, so I think I'm going to go ahead and go over these setups. Just a lot of room for improvement. I need to, again, take things a lot more seriously. 4 trades, 2 were green, 50%. 1 was a nice one. This one I traded pretty nicely. And, with only 4 trades, the data isn't, perfect, but it does show that my average dollar gain was larger than my average dollar loss. My percent gain was better too, even though I traded ILUS here horribly. It was only $4. Average positions were about the same, a little larger on the 2 red trades here, but not by much. And it looks like I was in the trade a lot less. That was a winning trade than a losing trade, and that's just because this one I held for 6 minutes. This one again was just a really bad setup. I made 10 measly dollars, but I only traded a very small $700 in trading volume. And let's just go ahead and actually add this. Alright, that did not paste perfectly. That's a lot better. Let me see, out of the dollar volume I traded, alright, it was a 1.35. Again, I could have done things a lot better. One of the setups I did was not really that good. Which one was it? Right here. This one could have really made things a lot better, but again, I need to push myself, trade larger sizes, take things more seriously. Let's go over these trades. First one is the 13th ILUS high day breakout. Already have ILUS. This one's going to be a very nice, ideally, hopefully, a very nice morning panic bounce play when it happens. Here it is. It looks like it kind of broke out of this range here. It's on its 3rd day. So not really the best, because you're playing a high day setup in what is the third green day after the breakout, but that was definitely what I did there. Again, let's look at the 13th. That is a daily chart. Right here's the 13th. Let me go ahead and highlight it. Alright. My entry was 950 and I got out 951. So let's highlight the beginning part of the day. Nice run up. Let's just do it from here. Again, my entry was 950, 1619. 950 was right here. And 1619. So right here is where I got in this trade. Actually a very good trade. I like this setup. I like looking at this chart because I've seen a lot of these that kind of trade within a range and then by 10 o'clock it breaks out of it. CYBL was a great example of that. Although that one was very quick. Some of these, like this one, took a bit longer, but eventually it broke out of it. Very nice. I really like that entry. My sell was horribly 951, 16.3. So let's look at 951 right here, 16.3. Yeah, horrible sell. Had I have done that first red candle, at least the first red candle rule on a breakout like this, you know, I could have been able to sell this thing at the 1684 level. Let's just say 16.8. Let's just see what that would have been. Yeah, that would have been a lot nicer. Even though I'm still trading a tiny size, that would have been a lot nicer in terms of percent gain. I shouldn't have been that chicken with such a small size, but at least I pushed myself to trade it. And yeah. First red candle rule, very important. And you know, had I have decided to hold this thing and play off a higher low, so this is a higher low, you know, then this one kind of holds itself. This is when it starts being all sketchy right here. And then when we start seeing like a lower high, or you can call this a double top, which is lower than here. Let's just see in theory what would a sell at 19 would have been. Yeah, that would have been 17%. That's why I need to get a lot better with these. Not saying that I would trade the freaking high and you know the low and be Mr. Perfect, but obviously this one had a lot of room and I could totally push myself to trade these things a lot better. And if I traded a larger size, that would have been super nice. I can totally do something like this. It might take a super long time for me to get that good, but God willing, I can get there. You know, this is why I do these recaps, just to remember everything I've done right and wrong and see what I can do to get better. Larger sizes, more seriousness, more aggressiveness. I've probably been too passive. I've made the mistake of being too aggressive, like when I first tried trading stocks in 2015. Now I'm just being too passive. I need to step things up because I really want to make myself, you know, really make it in this trading world, and I know it's totally possible, and I just have to keep going at it and putting in more effort. Let's look at the next one, HRAA, morning panic bounce play for the 14th. All right, HRAA 14. This one is still kind of holding on to itself. If it could maybe break out of some range, it could look like super nice. Let's do this further back so it doesn't look all weird. First red day. Let's look at the 14th, which was right here. Pretty volatile day, but this one is sketchy because it trades with very low volume. My entry was 944, 39.25. Let's bring this closer. It goes back here, 944. 39.25, which was right about, it's very picky, right about here, 944, the green candle, right about here. So pretty good entry. Clearly some kind of level 2 reversal. I'm not sure if I risked the wick here or maybe here, but it was a morning panic bounce play. It did have a drop from this 50 level It got as low as freaking 37. Obviously, very sketchy, very low volume, very probably a very small float, very scary stock. And I sold 2 minutes later. Let's look at 946.42 right here, and it was like the bottom, like 42 flat. So my exit was around here, this green candle. So why did I sell here? Even though it wasn't really like a red candle for that first red candle rule, the fact that it had like a gap down, so it closed here at this 43 level, and then it opened here, I consider that a red candle, and that's why I got out. It did save me from this move right here, although it did touch VWAP, which is nice at 46. Out of curiosity, I'm very happy with my sell, but if I sold at 46, what would that have been? Yeah, that would have been super profitable, even with a tiny position. So that's something cool to look at. Yeah, I like the trade though. Very happy with it. I'm happy I at least, traded something very nicely last week, and that really made most of the profit loss for last week. I need to push myself again to trade larger sizes. Now maybe not so much with this one because it does have like a lot of sketchiness behind the stock, but if we have a morning panic bounce play with ILUS, ideally I don't miss it, because that one is gonna be very nice. At least I hope it will. It might not. It might be like a tsunami type panic stock. DPLS is a great example, NSAV. But if it does like a regular morning panic bounce play, especially while it's at its highs, and it could try to regain its highs and continue uptrending for more days, those are super damn profitable, and I hope I can trade those with size, because I do have a lot more experience trading it. The next one is ISWH. Okay, morning panic bounce play as well. Let's look at the 15th. Right about here. Alright, yeah, that looks a bit sketchy. Let's just do it from the 15th. And I did stupidly miss the high day breakout at 2. I hope I can get better with that. I know I like morning panic bounce plays, but again, we haven't seen those as many times as often as they have been previously. So yeah, let's look at the 14th, right? No, the 15th. Red candle right here. There was a wick. It did reclaim itself ideally. Okay, right there. My entry was 185, 938, and I sold the next minute at 939. So right here, 185 and 938, and I sold right here. Yeah, so this was a case where I'm trying a morning panic bounce play. I'm trying to do a level 2 reversal, and I'm in at 938. I'm not sure if I already hit the bottom, right? Or if I'm just, in here at this minute, and I'm kind of, let me see, when did I get in? 938. Okay, so near the end of the minute. So very likely I'm in the trade in this candle right here. It's already made a bottom here at 183, give or take. And it also had that same bottom in this candle, so I'm having this risk level at 183. What happened is that 939, it briefly broke it. And even though it briefly broke it, it went to 182, it reclaimed itself and ultimately made a nice morning panic bounce play. I don't regret cutting losses in this candle, losing just a tiny percent loss of 0.27%. I actually don't mind that one bit, because I've seen these very often break a level, and then you think, alright, well, maybe it'll hold 180, and then it breaks 180 because everybody else was risking 183, and now it's breaking 180 because everybody's trying to get out. And then next thing you know, you're cutting losses at 167, and you feel like an idiot. I don't regret this one bit, even though it did reclaim itself. A lot of times I've seen it make a whole nother leg down, and I've made that mistake where it makes a whole nother leg down and I go long again, and I'm like, well, I hope this is the bottom, And if it breaks that, well, then you're extra screwed. So I've learned a lot since then, even though this was an example where it worked. Had I have been in this trade, maybe it held 183 nicer, or maybe I do need to adjust and say, okay, I broke 183, but it came back immediately. I'm very happy with how I traded it. You know, I probably would have felt worse if I held this through. And in theory, if I were to have been in this trade, it was a bit sketchy here with this wick action, but I would have likely have sold maybe at 193 because the red candle closed here. So in theory, let's just see 193. That would have been a nice percent gain, but again, I probably wouldn't have been that happy with myself. I'm very happy with my trade there. I'm very happy with my sell there. Even though I had that nice spike, I've made that mistake of just holding on through and it makes a leg down, and that's just some sketchy, degenerate gambling. You know, it's not real trading. It's not good trading, at least, or sustainable trading. It's a lot better the way I did it, even if I missed out once again on those profits there. I'm actually very happy with how I traded that. And now, speaking about what I'm happy with, this was a horrible trade. ILUS is looking at 916, September 16th, ILUS, high and day breakout. Let's just do it from back here. 16th was the official breakout day over that 20-cent level, if you asked me. Maybe you want to say it's 1985 or something like that. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna debate, but again, that was an entry on the 16th. Let's just highlight it right here. It broke it immediately, in the morning. And I had that problem where I just didn't get in when it broke out of the range. And then it's trading back and forth, and I'm just like, yeah, let me throw a trade. Let me just see if this thing can hold. I continue to put up higher lows, and that was a stupid trade. I could have at least waited for a dip. My entry was 1058, 2174. So 1058 right here, 2174. So near the top, I did hit the ask, and it was trading at this range, like higher low, higher low, higher low, right? And then I was risking this 213 level, but I didn't want to risk it completely because if it breaks it might make a nasty downtrend. So I had like a very stupid stop loss, in mind, like not an actual one, but a mental one. And what happened is that eventually it just broke that risk level, and I sold at the very bottom at 1105. So right here was my sell right here. So I got in here, right, and then I sold right here because I was thinking, all right, big red candle, maybe it breaks this 213 level, and then it goes crazy. But it actually held itself. Maybe it would have been better if I held, and maybe not held, but maybe if I didn't trade it at all, but try again here at its lows at 2138 or something, and then it eventually does break this top right here and go as high as 22. And if we look now, the thing is at 28. So this thing was clearly a multi-day breakout over this range right here. It's doing multi-day breakouts over multi-day breakouts because this was an original one here, right? And then it did a consolidation here, a follow-up breakout, and now it's continuing it. I just traded this thing horribly. I should have at least went for a dip. If I went for a dip, that would have been a lot better. I wouldn't have had a stupid risk level that isn't really based off of the way it's trading. I would have done things a lot better, but at least I learned from it. I did lose. It was still a small percent loss, a small dollar loss, small position. At least I could do that. I just need to take things now a lot more seriously. Some very nice runners: ISWH, ILUS, CYBL. A lot of them are breaking out. This one broke out past 2, and now it's up 20% from that level. This one, at least I tried the trade because it did that nice breakout. I would have been in at a very nice price. I think like 194. The thing went as high as 22. It closed very nicely, despite it having a little sketchy dip like that. Still super nice, you know. I look forward to morning panic bounce plays with these. It is something I'm good at. I need to push myself and trade larger sizes in general, taking things more seriously, you know, no longer being so passive. It looks like the market is starting to wake up. And yeah, maybe those morning panic bounce plays don't happen and we continue to have high day breakout setups. I need to get better. I need to trade larger. I need to take things more seriously, and I can do it with God. I look forward to this week, and I clearly have a lot of things that I need to get better at. I need to keep improving, getting more experience, and that's really all I can do. I'm very thankful for the week overall. I'm even thankful for the people who roasted me, even if they're little bots or promoters, on that crappy IOUS video that I made this week. You know, I have a lot of things to keep getting better at, and I'm really thankful for the opportunity.